Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now today I've got a very special guest. I'm joined by Luca, and it has been the longest time since we've spoken. I went on this channel about a year ago, or probably more than that.
Probably 2 years or so.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So this is going to be really good to have you on today, Luca. Thanks for coming on my channel. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Thank you very much for inviting me on. It's been a long time, man. We'd have to do more collabs when you can.
Yeah, definitely. I know because I know I came on your channel and it was such a long time ago, so it's just lovely to have you on. And we will be previewing the game tomorrow against Luton, but I just thought I could just briefly touch on the Man City game because I've not really heard your thoughts and I'd love to know what you think. Obviously, for me, going into the game, I did really want to win. I believed we were good enough to get a win. But I also know Man City are obviously a really good team and they couldn't afford to lose either. Obviously ended in a 0-0 draw. What are your thoughts on the game and the result?
For me, look, thank you very much for asking that. And look, it's a pleasure. Look, for me, the Man City game, I thought we were the better side. I thought the first half, Man City, for me, had the most possession in that game. I just felt like there was times in that game we couldn't really close Man City down.
Yeah,
Defensively, we've got the best defence in the Premier League this season. And for me, I thought defence-wise we were good, but I thought we really struggled to break Man City down because I thought to myself, the amount of times I was confident. I said in my preview last week when I had Big Steve on the channel, I said I'll go for a 1-1 draw, and it was a draw. But regardless to that, I just felt like the first half we were very, very poor. I thought Man City were the better team, but we
yeah,
somehow managed to find a way and to not concede and that. And yes, we got a 0-0 draw. I thought it was a terrible game, to be honest. And for me, I was very surprised that no one didn't score. But I thought Arteta got it right with the substitutions. I thought bringing Martinelli and bringing Trossard on at the right time worked. And with the starting 11, I was a bit cautious with Kivior starting
yeah,
against Man City because I know he's been on good form. Because when we played, I said this on my channel a couple of times. When we beat West Ham 6-0, I wasn't confident when Kivior, right,
yeah.
was going to be good enough to handle the likes of Mohamed Kudus and that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, right, I just felt like that Man City game, Kivior, for me, I didn't think he didn't play well. So I did my match reaction on Sunday night. And for me, I think he was poor. I think he was getting caught out by Bernardo Silva a couple of times.
Yeah,
I felt a game like that, I thought Tomiyasu should have been suitable starting that game. Because, yes, I know he's just coming back from injury and we've got a fully fit squad and only got Timber out and that's it. I just felt a game like that would have suitable. And I can understand Mikel starting Kivior because of his
mm-hmm.
confidence, because he's been going with him pretty much the whole game since we've won 8 games out of a possible 9. We've only drawn the one this year, and that was Man City. But I thought the second half we had the better chances.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it wasn't a spectacular performance, but I thought we dealt with that chance from Gabriel Jesus from Bukayo Saka's cross. For me, this is why Jesus is not a striker. And if we want to go on to win the league title this season, and if it's going to be like, you can look at that, depending on if Liverpool slip up, right, from now until the end of the season, you can go back at the end of the season if we win the Premier League at the end of the season on May 19th, thinking that's, you go back and look at that Man City game, thinking, you know what, a draw against Manchester City is good. And I'm very happy with the point. I
Yeah,
called it out on my channel with Big Steve last week. I said it'd be a draw. Like, I didn't expect it would be 0-0. I thought it'd be
mm-hmm.
goals, 1-1 draw of resistance. But I just felt like the second half we had the better chance. We didn't create as many chances. We had a couple of clear chances. Man City's best chance in the first half was that Nathan Ake shot right into Raya. And I thought David Raya done very well to actually deal with Nathan Ake's situation. And for me, yes, Raya, for me, maybe sometimes his distribution wasn't great, but I thought he had a moment there to stop Ake from scoring. And I'm happy, man. I'm happy the way Arsenal are playing at the moment. It's just whether this manager for me, and you know my
Yeah,
opinions on this manager before, and I know a lot of people don't like my opinions on this manager, but I look, Arteta for me, I'm really proud this
mm-hmm.
season because I felt like what I'm really proud with Mikel, he has learned a lot from this game from last season because we conceded in the 7th minute at Man City last season and we lost 4-1 at the Etihad. And Arsenal, for me, have now obviously, since they've got William Saliba, what if we had Saliba and Tommy back if they didn't get injured during that Sporting Lisbon game? We could have gone and won the league. Like even that Liverpool game at Anfield when we drew 2-2, Saliba, if we had him, we would have won it. We probably would have won the league. So this is why I've got to give credits to Mikel, because he has really learned, and we're still in the title race. We're only 2 points from Liverpool. All it takes for Liverpool to draw or lose a game, because we've got the better goal difference. If we go on and win our 9 games from now, and say if Liverpool draw to Man United, like a 1-1 draw, we'll win the league on goal difference. And goal difference is going to be key. That's why games like Luton tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got to score.
Luton. It's not going to be an easy game because Luton proved it at Kenilworth Road. Away from home, they are poor, right? But our home is a hostile. When we played Luton at Kenilworth Road, right, I thought when we were 3-2 down, I thought that's it. We ain't coming back. Right?
Yeah, me too.
And Rice and Havertz done the job and got the winning goal. That's my favourite away game of the season. But regardless to that, I think what's going to be key for Mikel Arteta this season, he has to win something this season. And I know you're very positive, and I've watched your channel and I watch it all the time, and I know you're very positive and I respect that. But with my opinions, I just want this manager to prove to me that we can go on and win the league. And I think we can win the league. I think we can. We just need Liverpool to slip up. And we're not out of the title race. If we would have lost the game, it wouldn't be mathematically over. I would probably, in my mind, I'd probably say it would have been done. But for me, even Josh says in the chat, I think tomorrow we should play a few fringe players. Give the likes of Tomiyasu, Eddie Nketiah, Smith Rowe, Thomas Partey a start. Because I feel those type of games, we've got such good squad depth now compared to previous seasons. We're a much better side. We're a different Arsenal side. We're more defensive. And you know what? I always look forward to an Arsenal game. Even that point against Man City, for me, really, really got us going, right? But I really look forward to the next game. I'm more buzzing for tomorrow's game. I'm more buzzing to Saturday's game because you can see there's a different Arsenal side. This isn't a Mikel Arteta back when we were finishing 8th. Because if this manager would have been sacked.
Yeah, I completely get that. I mean, for me, when during the Arsenal lockdown time, we have actually faced a lot of difficult times for Arteta, and do you know what? There has been times where I've been really unsure if he could take us in the right direction. I think I do agree with you in the sense I want to see him get us over that line. I mean, I believe in him, and like you said, we're so proud of how far we've come, and you look at Man City when we played them a few seasons ago, we would lose 5-0 and we just weren't able to compete with them. I think we did go there to park the bus a bit and we didn't go there to win, but we also didn't go there to lose. So I think, like you said, there are a lot of positives from that, and I think for us, I think we're going in the right direction, which I feel really happy about. And I do agree with you. The Luton game for me, it's going to be tough. I mean, that game, the way we won 4-3 at the end, that was absolutely mental.
My favourite away game of the season, so that's my favourite away game of the season. The way Declan Rice scored that, I was screaming in my apartment and in my own flat department. And for me, I was thinking I couldn't believe it. Like I did a match reaction straight after the game, and the amount of people come in my chat that day thinking, "Oh my god!" Moments like that, kind of champions, and we need to do that for the last 9 games of the season. But I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Of course.
I've asked this a lot of people. People are not going to like what I'm going to say. If Arteta doesn't go on and win anything this season, would you give this manager? I know people don't like me saying this, but if he doesn't go on and win anything this season, and he's only 250 million away from a billion at the football club. If he doesn't win anything this season coming, do you have to start questioning it, or you give him till the summer, see what he does, see if he gets the right requirements? Because for me, I'm starting to feel like if he doesn't win anything this season, I'm going to start questioning him a bit. But now I'm sort of getting to that format thinking, let's see what he does in the summer. if he doesn't get the targets what the fans want, I'm starting to be like maybe he needs to go. But it's about who you bring in.
Yeah, I think you know what? I have asked people that question, and people have asked me that question as well. I think if that's right, say the season, we don't win the league and we don't win the champion. I think the Champions League, I think, is a bit of a stretch to win it. But say we don't, um, I would give him another season, and the reason for that is I do see us going in the right direction. I think we need to win things, and it's a bit frustrating if we didn't win anything. I mean, I think we can win a league. I think it's between us and Liverpool, I would say at the moment. I think it's
You're out of it. I don't think Man City. You can't rule out Man City.
no. I mean, no. Personally, this season, I feel like Man City aren't as strong as they were last season, but I'm not underestimating them. I still think, you know, they can just turn up. I think for us, I just don't want us to kind of crumble in our last 9 games. I think we definitely have difficult ones because we've got Spurs away, United away, and that they're not going to be easy. And Villa.
The only game I really fear, Sophie, is pretty much Spurs away and possibly maybe Brighton or Villa.
Oh yeah, Brighton.
Because for me, it's a North London derby, right? Form can go out the window. Remember the last time we were in a position where we wanted to fight for something? Tottenham, we were fighting for top 4. And we had Thomas Partey and Tierney and all them lot out injured in 21-22 season.
Yeah.
Right? About 3 years ago. And for me, we got out the title race. We got capitulated and we lost it. So regardless to that, we've got big games coming up. United ain't going to be easy, but I'm more confident playing Man United at Old Trafford. I know our record isn't that great over there, and they always seem to raise their game when we play them. But we've got to take it game by game. We've got to keep ourselves in there. And if this team is very serious, we saw it on Sunday. We almost won the game and got a point. And I said we're going to find out what this Arsenal side really are if they can get a result against Man City. And my words are, right, I think this team are good enough to go on and win the league. I always said it on my channel. I said we're going to find out if Arsenal go to Man City and not lose, then I'm starting to say, you know what, I think we can go on and win the league. But my only issue is if Liverpool, right, get it over the line, which they are capable of winning.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got the only toughest game they have is probably 2 games. I say maybe Villa away and Man United, because United are going to be fighting for top 6. They're already like 11 points off top 4.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I know Spurs as well. They've got Man City to play, and that's always a bit of a. I mean, I think Man City should win that surely, but I think it's a good comment here. It's a fair question, and although I'd personally give him one more chance, he will have to be looked at. I mean, say we didn't win anything this season, and you wanted him to go. Is there a manager you would want to like replace him with? Is there anyone you've got in mind?
For me, right, if you want to look, if Arteta left, right, he hasn't officially announced his contract yet, which I'm very spectacle and a bit surprised, because normally Arteta did that in the previous, and normally managers sign their contracts middle of the season, and that's not what I want to see in the middle of the season, because if he's done a fantastic job right now, then yeah, fair enough, go and sign it in the middle of the season. But I'd rather wait and assess where we really are at the end of the season, whether we're winning the Premier League or the Champions League. So regardless to that, I look at it and I feel if you want an experienced manager, do you know who I'll go and get? I'd go and get someone like Simeone, or maybe Zidane or Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. People might say, "Oh, Thomas Tuchel ain't good enough at Bayern," but I feel like he's experienced in the Premier League. He's won the Champions League at Chelsea, so go and get someone who's a top man. Like, you love Mikel Arteta, don't get me wrong, but say if Arteta left, right? What manager would you go for? Would you go for a top experienced manager or a young profile manager again?
Well, for me, yeah, I mean, for me, do you know, I'll be honest, I like Arteta a lot, but I still have my questions about him sometimes. Do you know, in recent weeks, not so much, because he is getting a lot right, I feel, but I do feel like before Dubai, when he was making a few mistakes about the team selections, etc., I did have my questions about him, but I do feel like, for me, you know, I just feel like if you say left hypothetically and we brought someone else in, I think we'd have to get someone experienced. I mean, I wouldn't know who'd really want it, because the thing is, it's got to really fit into this team. Because we've had a lot of managers. I mean, I think it's good. I suppose the players, really understand Arteta, and Arteta's really. In fact, Declan Rice has come here and, over Man City. I mean, I spoke to a Man City fan the other day and I said, if Declan Rice went to Man City, he probably wouldn't play much game time. He might do, but he might be on the bench. Like, you look at Calvin Phillips, how that's gone. So I feel like the fact players are choosing to come here as well tells you a lot. But I mean, I think it's going to be tough because we do need Liverpool's drop points, and that's not in our control anymore. We've got to just. That's what I'm worried about, because it's this part of the season where we struggle and we drop off a bit. I mean, I think we're good. We've not got any injuries at the moment. I know Saka. I think Saka's actually okay. I've seen stuff online about it, but yeah, I mean, I did want to ask you actually a bit about Gabriel and Saliba, because obviously they did incredible against Man City, and I didn't know the answer to this myself, but we are seeing Gabriel getting a lot more credit. People have said Gabriel's had a better season than Saliba. For you, who do you feel like's the better defender out of them both? Because I personally can't decide.
Well, for me, someone asked me this on my stream on Sunday when I last made a video for the match reaction, and for me, I thought Saliba was better, because
Yeah.
I can understand Gabriel's been at the football club for 4 years, since 2020,
Yeah.
right? Since lockdown, and Saliba went out on loan for 3 years. And for me, I've got to say Gabriel probably right now, because Gabriel for me has got to be up there with the best, because Gabriel, yes, people were questioning him a couple of seasons ago. He has a mistake in him. Because you remember that Man City game when we lost 2-1, Rodri scored the winning goal a couple of years ago.
Oh, that was horrible. Yeah.
It was. We failed to get top 4 that season. And I remember Gabriel was good. We were so good for 60 minutes, and then Gabriel lost his temper. And I felt that season, I thought people were questioning, is Gabriel even that good enough at Arsenal? And you can see how Mikel Arteta has really progressed him into a very good. Is Gabriel a world-class defender? I don't think he's not quite world-class just yet, but I think he's heading to that pecking order. But Gabriel, for me, I think he's got to be better. He's got 100% be better. It's like Saliba is less prone, but giving away free kicks. Yeah, Saliba has an odd mistake in him, but he's still so great.
Yeah.
I don't think we haven't lost with them two, with Haaland. So I correct me if I'm wrong. So for me, I think Gabriel is more better because of the experience. Saliba has now got to experience, but he went out on loan in France for 2 clubs for 3 years. And you've got to give credit to Mikel, because I never thought Saliba was going to come back.
Yeah.
Because he was an Unai Emery signing, I think. So regardless to that, Saliba has now come in. Mikel is transforming, and Saliba is probably one of the best centre backs right now. So
yeah, it's a difficult answer. I think they're both good in their own way. I think we just look. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to just read this out. I believe that the Luton game is massive for the Gunners because we can't afford to drop any more points. This is a team that we should be beating. Obviously, yeah, completely agree. I think that's the thing, because if we say we lost that game, I don't think we can win the league. I think we've really got to win every game, and it puts that pressure on us. Which
will we win every single game? That's the problem. It's whether this manager's got the mentality for the players. It's not just about Mikel Arteta. It's just about whether the players can get it over the line. Because we have to win it this season. We are so lucky to have another opportunity, because I thought when we bottled it last season, that's it. What is the aim for this season? Because last season, the title race we weren't supposed to aim for the title race, because top 4 was the aim, and winning the Europa League. Edu come out in the mitt and said it at the beginning of last season. Edu said top 4, get the Champions League, see where it takes us. We challenged. We were top of the league for 247 days. The last 6-7 games, we bottled it. We capitulated against Liverpool at Anfield, where we were 2-0 up, where we dominated for 40 minutes. left the substitutions late. We did respect Liverpool at Anfield. We got affected by the Anfield crowd. We didn't game manage the whole game, right? Then the West Ham game, we were 2-0 up. Saka goes and missed a penalty when it was 2-1. Could have been 3-1. Southampton go and bottle that. Trossard hits the bar. That goes in. You win the league. We finished 5 points off Man City.
I know. Do you know what? It was really difficult. I remember watching that Liverpool game last season, and the first half we were absolutely incredible. The second half, when we conceded them goals, we nearly lost that game. Ramsdale obviously made that important save, but I think last season I do feel more proud than disappointment, but I just feel like I feel like we've got more experience this season to get over the line. Like you said, I really believe we can win the league, but I think it's a hard position right now because Liverpool are a few points ahead of us.
That conclusion. That's the thing, and Liverpool always find a way. You know what I'm saying? The only positive I will say, at least it's not Man City top at the moment, because do I think we'll win the league? I think we can, but do I think we will? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I suppose because we've not gone over the line yet, it's hard to believe we can. Maybe
it's hard to believe, but
yeah,
I just have this. I think we can win 9 games. I think we're capable of doing it. And I really think we can do it, but I just have this second thought in my mind at the back of my head. I just feel like it's always Liverpool in that way. It's Klopp's last season.
Yeah.
And I don't really want it to come down to the final game with Liverpool involved. Look, don't get me wrong, it'd be really entertaining. Like, can you imagine if it comes down to the final game, Arsenal just have to win the game or somehow have Liverpool dropping points? I wouldn't be, and they got Wolves at Anfield. Would I really be optimistic if it was at Anfield? If it was away, it's a possibility. But regardless to that, it's always Liverpool in that conclusion. And look, if we weren't in a title race, who would you rather have, Liverpool or Man City? For me, I'd rather have Liverpool.
Oh, definitely.
Because I don't want Man City winning it every single season.
It's getting boring, yeah. It'd be nice for another team.
Premier League for a reason. Because they never existed 15, 16 years ago as a money mega club.
Yeah. Do you know what, for me, I think it would, if Arsenal don't do it, obviously I'll be devastated, but I think I'd rather Liverpool do it because I feel like you said, I feel like I'm tired of Man City obviously winning it, and I think it would be a really fitting way for Klopp to leave, this last season. But yeah, I think it'll go down to the last game personally, and I think, like you said, goal difference is a massive factor. Obviously, we've got a really good goal difference, but I think the Luton game is going to be a really good opportunity for us to try and score a lot of goals. I think since the bye, we've obviously been really like a different team. I think the team clearly needed a rest.
100%.
But for you, like we're talking on Luton, I just wanted to get your thoughts. For me, obviously, I didn't watch a lot of them, but from what I've seen this season, I think they're not afraid to give it a go. I know sometimes when they score a few goals, they'll concede and lose, but I just think they're a team that I think are quite brave and they're not afraid to give it a go. But for you, what have you made of Luton so far? Because I know a lot of fans, including me, I thought they would be going down. I mean, they could still go down. We don't know yet.
For me right now, look, Luton are one of those teams this season where I've known Luton for a very, very long time. I live near that area anyway. But regardless to that, right, Luton have been a team this season where, look, I've always looked forward to them to come to the Premier League. I've always wanted Arsenal to play Luton. And for me, I have a lot of respect for Luton. I think Luton are an all right club. And for me, look, I look at Luton and they're one of those entertaining teams where they'll just score a lot of goals, right?
Yeah.
But they always seem to throw it away. Like they're trying to end up doing all these solve problems. Like you look at Newcastle, 4-2 up and they throw it away. Or 1-0 up against Tottenham. Like you're watching that as a neutral fan and you're thinking, right, okay, Tottenham are going to come back. Arsenal are going to win. Arsenal go 1-0 down tomorrow. I'm having a meltdown because I expect Arsenal to come and win 3-1 or something. So regardless to that, I just think they haven't got the squad. Yes, they have got Ross Barkley, who's had a lot of Premier League experience with the likes of Chelsea, Everton, played a lot of Premier League clubs, gone out in France and played for Nice, had a lot of football out elsewhere. They bought Sammy the Congo on loan, which kind of has not worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Luton don't want to keep him, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think I look at Luton this season. Yes, they've been such an entertaining team to watch. At home, it's very difficult, because they've proved it this season. They've got a point at Luton's ground against Liverpool. They lost to Chelsea twice, but they gave it a bit of a good fight. We just about beat them. Man City thumped them in the FA Cup, and then Man City beat them in the league. I think it was like 2-1 at Luton. I think Man City still got to play Luton at the Etihad. So I look at Luton this season. There has been games this season where they have been very unlucky, but I just think defensively they're not good enough.
Yeah, I think that's where it lets them down a bit, because they are. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Spurs beat them 2-1. I'm pretty sure, but I watched that game and I do like them a lot. I do want them to stay up, but I do think that's what will make it difficult, because we need to win this game for the title. They need to win it to stay up. I think that's what makes it a really tough
believe
one.
it's going to be a difficult game? Because for me, I think we win it very comfortably. Don't get me wrong; we have to respect Luton, because Luton can somehow pull out a surprise. They could pull out the trigger and pull some surprise against Arsenal, because Luton, for me, would obviously give it. I think for me, I do think we will win. I always have this mind where I feel like we're going to win like 3-0 or something, but at the second time, I always feel like we're going to edge it like 2-1. I feel like we have a bit of a good fight somehow and just about miss out, because we have the quality compared to them. They are a bit less experienced.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an easy game. I think right at this moment, I feel like we could win maybe 2-0, but then I kind of do see them scoring as well. I think this time around, I do think we will be. I feel like we'll have more control of the game. Will be much better. Our performance will be better, because we're on a bit of a run at the moment and we're doing good. We've got a lot of confidence, but I do expect them to give us a difficult game. But it is, like I said, I think it's tough because we both want different things. We both want to, you know, they want to stay up. We want to win the league. I think it's going to be tough. It really is. But for you in this game, you know, Martinelli, I thought when he came on the other day, I thought he was incredible. I thought he gave this energy that we were missing in the game. For me personally, I wouldn't have started Jesus because he's just had an injury. I wouldn't expect him to be back to himself straight away. But talking on lineups, would you make any changes, or what sort of lineup would you like to see?
For me, I would make a couple of changes because we've got that big game on the weekend against Brighton at 5:30 away from home against Brighton. So I think for me, I go with Raya in goal, of course.
Yeah.
Keep him as number one. Defense. The only change I would make out of defense is possibly I'd probably go with Tomiyasu and give Ben White a bit of a rest. Play Tommy at right back, centre halves. I'll go with Saliba and Gabriel pretty much. Left back, I'd probably take Kivior out and put Zinchenko in there. The midfield, I'd probably go with. I'll throw in a Thomas Partey in a game like this, because I thought Partey was okay when he came on against Man City. I thought he showed his physical presence against Man City. I wouldn't say he didn't do too much, but he was okay. I'd go with Thomas Partey. I'd give Declan Rice. I'll go with Declan Rice just in case we're in trouble. So I'll go with Declan Rice, Thomas Partey. I'll give Odegaard a rest. I'll throw in someone like a Smith Rowe. Up front is a question. I'd go with Reece Nelson. Have Saka on the bench or give him a rest. Get him ready for that Brighton game. I'd probably play Martinelli. And then I'll go with Trossard as the false number 9. That's what
I agree. I definitely think we need to make changes. I wouldn't go too weak either. I think it's hard. I think players like Ben White deserve a rest, and you know, Tomiyasu is able to come back now. Kivior, I mean, I'd give him a chance. I think I do like Kivior actually. I just think the game the other day, I just feel like he probably, I reckon the atmosphere and how intense the game was maybe got to him a little bit, because I think he struggled. But do you know what? I am a big supporter of Kivior so far. I mean, I do think some players do need a rest. I mean, really good to see Thomas Partey back. It feels like the longest time since he's really played. I mean, we did see him come on. For you, when you saw Thomas Partey come on the other day, do you feel like he's ready now to be back in the starting 11?
I think for me, yeah, I think Thomas Partey is very, very, very ready to come back into the side, because I would throw him against the big teams like the Tottenhams and Man United at Old Trafford, because I feel like we need that. Okay, a lot of people would want to sell him, and like, personally, I want him to go in the summer. And it is a shame, because when we first signed Thomas Partey and went out to trigger his release clause for 45 mil, when Kroenke did that, I was so happy. I thought we really got our answer. But Declan Rice is that Patrick Vieira replacement. So I think Thomas Partey, for me, I think we need to replace him in the summer. But I do think he is ready for these last 9 games. I do think Thomas Partey, I think with Mikel Arteta, I feel like, look, we all know he's going to leave at the end of the season. He knows that. The club know that behind the scenes. We don't know what's going to go on in the transfer window. So what to improve for next season. If we go on and win the league this season or next season. But I think Partey, for me, I think he's ready. I really do think he's ready right now. And I feel like games like this, playing them against the small teams, maybe to get a few minutes. And if he feels like he's ready, play him. Play him against Man United at Old Trafford, Tottenham, even Wolves away. You're going to need these sort of players. Because Thomas Partey on his day, when we have a fit Thomas Partey, he's the best midfielder at the club.
Yeah, I mean, I share that same thought. I think in the summer, I would be open to selling him just because of his injury, how many injuries he gets per season. He's been out for the most of the season, and obviously he can't help that. But I just feel like it doesn't obviously help us. And yeah, I agree with this comment here. We need to squeeze out what we can before he leaves. I mean, I know another player who I definitely think will be selling in the summer is Nketiah. I think Arteta, for me, has come to the conclusion that he probably can't give us what we need because he never really starts. Do you feel like now would probably be the best time to sell Eddie, and how much money do you think we could get for him?
I think for me, look, I've never wanted Eddie Nketiah at his football club, because for me, right, this guy ain't good enough at the football club. And my criticism I will give to the manager is, look, he never gave this number 14 shirt. Well, I don't know why. Ever since Aubameyang left, right, I'm thinking, why did he give Eddie Nketiah the number 14 shirt? This guy's not good enough. 100 grand a week, and now Arteta stopped playing him. He only plays him if Jesus is injured. So regardless of that, and or even Martinelli or Trossard, because before we started playing Trossard, Gabby, and Havertz up top, when we used to play Eddie Nketiah during that World Cup in 2022, Eddie Nketiah is one of those players where he just have like 4, 5, 6 good games, and then he just goes missing for like 10 games. He ain't good enough. And I think price value, I think we get about 30, 35 mil. I don't think we'll get anything more than that, because I feel like he's played a lot of less games in the second half of the season, and he's just not a regular. Like, he doesn't do anything when he comes off the bench. He doesn't really make it. He might have a touch all there, but he doesn't make an impact.
Yeah, I think we know like he's going, because I think when he does come on, like you say, I think the problem with Eddie is that he's very inconsistent. There've been times where I've really, thought he could really help us. I know last season I think he did all he could. I don't think he's able to fill in like a Jesus can. I mean, obviously Jesus as well has obviously had a lot of injuries. I did want to ask you, obviously at the moment we don't know if we will win anything, hoping we can. But for you, it does depend on who we sell as well. I mean, if Partey went, we'd definitely have to replace him. But out of the squad we have now, which players do you feel like we need to move on, and which signings would you like to have? I know we've been linked to Ivan Toney quite a lot, so who would you like to bring in as well?
Well, for me, look, I think player-wise, we need to get rid of. Look, Ramsdale, for me, right, we're hearing a lot of talks about. Look, I love Aaron Ramsdale. Don't get me wrong, right? I would love to meet Ramsdale one day before he leaves at the end of the season. But Ramsdale, for me, I always liked Ramsdale. When we were in the title race last season, I think a lot of people are forgetting a little bit that Ramsdale was the better keeper than David Raya, because when Raya came in, I was really up for it. I was thinking, wow, we've got we got an experienced keeper, and we were linked with him when Brentford were in the Championship a couple of seasons ago. So, and this is Brentford's third season or something like that in the Premier League. So, I think for me, Ramsdale saves moments when it matters, and now I'm starting to feel like I'm up for it. Get rid of Ramsdale now, because I've seen games he played against Brentford. He doesn't seem to be the same Ramsdale of what he was last season, because when you play a lot of less games, you're going to lose that momentum. You're going to lose, even if you've got that momentum in training, but you don't have that momentum on the pitch. And regardless to that, I think what Arsenal need to be really cautious. This is what I'm concerned about. People need, our fan base are saying, right, okay, we need to go for a younger profile goalkeeper. I'm thinking, no, we need to go for someone experienced, because look at young upcoming. We haven't really had a third choice keeper. We've had people who have been like, okay, Matt Ryan came in during the lockdown period, and I quite like Matt Ryan. I think he was okay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But we've had people like Ronaldson and that. And I'm thinking, I don't want to bring anyone that particularly young from like a foreign league. I'd rather get a Premier League experienced goalkeeper that's done it. Like, you've seen keepers who retired, like Petr Cech and that, all them have all retired. But I'd rather get a Premier League experienced keeper that's going to come in and do a job. Because Raya's that number one goalkeeper, and I've liked David Raya now. Like, ever since games like Seville away, I'm thinking, you know what, this keeper ain't good enough to be number one. And now he's grown into it. Raya for me is now my number one goalkeeper. Before it was Ramsdale, and now Raya for me is my number one keeper, Sophie. And I think getting rid of Ramsdale, I don't mind, as long as we get a good goalkeeper. And I can't really think of any top goalkeeper replacements. Maybe go for, I don't know, maybe an example like a Navas resistance. We need that type of experienced goalkeeper that's going to come in and do a job. Like for me, someone who's done it. There's not many old goalkeepers left these days, but we need someone of that caliber that's done it. Right now, I take Wojciech Szczesny back at the football club.
I liked him a lot.
I liked him. I take someone like that as an example right now at the end of the season, right for next season as a backup. But he doesn't want to be. He wants to be number one. But I'm thinking, right, okay, as number two, you'll be good enough as a backup to David Wright. I'd have him back at the football club. I like Szczesny. Yes, his attitude stunk at the time under Arsene Wenger, but I take someone like that back for like an example goalkeeper.
Yeah,
something like that. But it's whether Arteta will do that. Arteta has played with Wojciech Szczesny as a player, and also defence-wise, I think we need a centre-back cover, because we don't really have that. Yes, we've got Tommy Asu who could play as a centre-back. We've got Timber who can also throw into there. But I really think we need a great long-term replacement for Saliba in the main future. I like the idea of that sporting defender, Demondi.
Yeah.
He's a Ivory Coast international. I'd take someone like that in the summer, or even someone like a Mark Guy, maybe from Crystal Palace. I think right back, I think we're all sorted. Left back, depending if Zinchenko goes, I think we need to get someone experienced as a left back. I don't know who that will be.
Yeah, the left back situation's definitely one I think we need to sort. I don't think Tierney's coming back either, which
I don't want Tierney back now.
Do you know what I've noticed of Tierney? I always will love him, his passion, but when I just don't feel like he suits our system anymore. I think Arteta plays a certain way with his team, and I just don't think he's going to fit in, unfortunately. And he gets injured so much as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and it is a shame, because I thought a lot of people said that Tierney doesn't fit Mikel Arteta's system. I thought he did, and I kind of like criticised Mikel for that. And I think Tierney, for me, I don't want him back now. I think it's past. I think there's better left back.
Yeah.
He's playing Sociedad if he wants to go and play elsewhere, or go back to Celtic, because I think we're not going to get enough money for him. And we'll probably get about 5-10 million quid, and we'd rather take that, because we bought the guy for 25 mil. And when we first signed him, I loved him. He was a passionate, he was a leader on the pitch, and he was our best left back at the club. But it's a shame. I do think he is still better than Zinchenko. Don't get me wrong, but I think for me, I don't see Zinchenko leaving the football club. I'll be a little bit surprised if he does go. I think that
Yeah.
those 5-minute rumours are just, I don't think it will happen, but you never know. So, but midfield, we're linked to a load of midfielders. So I think I like the look of that Zubamendi from
Yeah.
Sociedad. He's someone where Arsenal are looking. I like the midfielder who I would go and replace for Thomas Partey is either Zubamendi or Paulinho from Fulham. I think Paulinho is unbelievable. I think he's so consistent at Arsenal. Imagine him and Declan Rice in that midfield, would be a solid brick wall midfield. I still think we need maybe a number 8, but I don't
Yeah.
think Arteta is not going to get a proper number 8. But I think winger, I'd take someone like Pedro Neto was a fan. I was a fan of him, but he's injury prone. I don't know whether he can keep his fitness or not. I like the look of that Nico Williams from Bilbao.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a top winger that can challenge Saka. Because look, I don't think Saka isn't world class yet.
Mm.
I really don't think he's not world class yet, but he's got potential. And up front, we need a striker.
Oh yeah, we
I
definitely
don't
do.
get Isaac from Newcastle.
I really want him. I think he'd be great at
What do
Arsenal.
you make about that Sporting Lisbon striker?
I mean,
I'm not sure, man. I think a lot of people are over and hyping him up, this guy. Look, don't get me wrong. He's come from Swansea and Coventry and that. But I just feel like this guy, yes, he's done very well at Sporting Lisbon, but an example is Sophie. Liverpool got Darwin Núñez, right? It took his first season, and everyone was calling Darwin Noodles, Darwin Flip Flop, all that stuff. Honestly, it was real talk. And for me, Darwin Núñez, he came in the second season. He was banging goals in pre-season. People might question and say, "Oh, it's only pre-season. Anyone can score for fun." But pre-season's about fitness.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I would take someone Premier League proven. Ivan Toney. Look, January, I kept going on about Tony non-stop. But now I was at the Brentford and Porto game, and I was thinking, Tony, for me, he never impressed me. He never really impressed me. Maybe he was saving his boots for a transfer move. But would you take Ivan Toney? For me, I don't know, man.
Do you know what? I was exactly like you. For such a long time, I've been like, "Oh my god, I want Ivan Toney, Ivan Toney," and now that I'm really thinking about it, I do feel like he might possibly clash with Arteta a little bit, only because I'm not saying his attitude is bad, but you know, in his interviews, it's very obvious to see he wants to get out of Brentford. But for me, I think there's a way of conducting yourself. There's a way of saying things in a respectful way, because Brentford have done a lot for him, and it just personally doesn't come across great. I do think he's very talented. I mean, I know another one, Ollie Watkins, I do like, but
Yeah.
I think he would improve us, but I'm not sure if he would elevate the team. You know, like the way Declan Rice has elevated Arsenal. We need a prolific goal scorer. We've lacked that, especially when Aubameyang left and when we were going through that situation. We needed one then. Jesus is obviously, I think he's been a good signing, especially in the Champions League. He's so good, but I just feel like we've needed one for ages. I mean, I know we don't speak about it much now because we're scoring a lot of goals, but I think if I had to pick one, I'd definitely pick Isaac. I think he's doing good.
I said this a few years ago when I first started this channel. I was thinking I wasn't keen on Isaac because he scored less goals at Real Sociedad. I'm thinking, I remember there was a rumour, I can't remember what season, it might have been 2 seasons ago or so,
Yeah.
right? And I remember Arsenal were linked with Isaac. There was rumours we were going to pay 75 mil. Apparently he was reported in Heathrow Airport. I think it was a load of clickbait back then. But regardless to that, now I've seen Isaac. He reminds me of a bit of maybe an Henri, Ian Wright
Yeah, I see that.
play, the way he moves. And I would like to have an Odegaard and Isaac. I think Isak will be a perfect Arsenal striker.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people have gone with the Sporting Lisbon striker because of Isak's injury prone. I want a striker that's already proven. I don't want
me
someone
too.
coming from a Farmers League, and I don't even watch the Portuguese league. And to me, would you really want to go out and pay that? I don't know how much is Newcastle want 100 million for Isak.
I wouldn't. it's a lot of money.
That's why Tony is more cheaper, because we've
Yeah,
made mistakes in the past. Like, people were questioning about Kai Havertz. Like, I never wanted Havertz in the first place, but
yeah,
now I'm starting to be a Havertz fan.
yeah.
Like, he
Me
might not be
too.
scoring every week. I didn't think he wasn't that great on the weekend against Man City because because Havertz he couldn't get the service. So that I
Mhm.
thought he had a poor game against City because he couldn't get the service. So, and I've liked Havertz this season. He's scored important goals this season. I can name a lot of games he has scored this season, and I still don't think he's not worth 65 mil, but he is going to prove that he's heading to that direction. He is proving why he's worth that sort of 65 mil price tag.
Yeah.
But I look at it and I feel we need a striker that's going to come in. And I feel like we've had this situation before where we've bought people like Fabio Vieira. What's going to happen to Fabio
Oh
Vieira?
God, yeah. We've not seen him really.
He's
He never
not
really hit the ground running, did he?
he struggled in an under 21 match against Reading in whatever they call it, Bristol Motors Trophy, Papa John's Trophy, right? So, and I'm thinking Vieira for me, he hasn't really had any decent moments. He popped on with the odd assist, all that, and had vital moments. But it has to be Isaac or Ivan Toney or
Yeah,
Isak. Isak for me is my Osmian is a dream, but it doesn't. I think he's going to go to somewhere like PSG or Chelsea.
yeah,
But it has to be Isaac for me, man. He's the one for me. He suits Arsenal, man.
yeah. I completely agree. I think it's. I'm really with you on this. I feel like for me, it does depend on. I know sometimes you're going to take a risk and buy players out of different leagues, but when we signed Declan Rice, because I'd watched so much of him, West Ham at England. I love this comment, by the way.
I get this all the bloody time, man. Seriously. Be honest, do I
Yeah,
look like Fabio Vieira? Be honest opinion.
no, I wouldn't say so.
Thank you very much, man. Someone
I
actually pleasing me for a change.
yeah, I think like we saw with Declan, we already knew what Declan Rice was like, so I feel like it's good to buy Premier League players who are good. I know another thing as well. Like, you look at the squad, some of the players we have. Someone like a Reece Nelson as well. I do feel like he probably will leave, and to be honest, I feel like if Saka's injured, I just don't know if Reece could fill his boots enough. I mean, Reece Nelson, we can't forget that incredible goal he scored last season against Bournemouth. But we have a few players who might sell. I mean, Elneny, I don't mind him staying personally because it doesn't affect us
He's
really.
going to stay. He's one of those players who is an Arsenal family. He's part of the football club. He's going to be
Yeah,
working with his badges at Arsenal. You know what I mean? I think he'll announce his retirement at the end of the season. Might go and play somewhere like abroad for 1 year, like a Turkish league for assistance or Saudi Arabia league. Someone will snap him up for 5-10 million quid, give him so much salary, and then he'll just retire and come back to Arsenal. I think it'll be one of those moments. It might be a player coach or something. And look, Mohamed El-Neni is just one of those players where he'll put in a shift. Not brilliant player, but he puts in a good shift.
yeah,
And
he'll work hard. That's what you'll get from him.
he'll release the ball and calmness. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's what we want really. It's nice to see,
Yeah.
obviously. And I know before we mentioned the Ramsdale situation, and I completely agree with you, the fact that he will be going in the summer. And I think it would be fair for him to leave because, for England as well, he probably wants to get, called up as well. Do you know if he left, which team would you see him going to? For me, there are a few teams I could see him go to. I reckon he could maybe go to like a Newcastle, maybe. I mean, he could go out somewhere out of the Premier
Is
League.
this Ramsdale? Ramsdale?
Yeah,
I think Ramsdale goes to Newcastle. I think it makes sense because
yeah,
Eddie Howe's played with him under Bournemouth. I think Eddie Howe's definitely wanting. He is the number one goalkeeper. I think Nick Pope. I don't know what's going to happen to him. Like, it's going to be interesting who plays. You're going to have two England goalkeepers, and he's surely got to put Ramsdale as number one because we're going to get about 50, 60 mil for him. We're probably going to get about 50 mil for him. And we paid the guy 30 something odd million. So we'll probably get an extra 20, 30 million quid. And I think Ramsdale will be the number one. Like, Nick Pope's a top goalkeeper, but he doesn't want to be on the bench. for Newcastle.
Yeah.
So does it really make sense for Ramsdale going to Newcastle? Maybe, because if Eddie Howe's actually played with him under Bournemouth. But it's going to be interesting whether, because if Ramsdale comes in, surely he's not going to be the bench player. But otherwise, we've got the better deal by letting him go in on the bench. And then Nick Pope's going to be the number one. It is a very, very hard to call whether Eddie Howe's actually going to put who it. For me, I think he puts Ramsdale as number one, because why would you go out and pay
Yeah.
50 mil for him?
There's a question here. Who's your favourite Arsenal player?
Well, in the current squad right now, it has to be Declan Rice or William Saliba. I really love them at the moment. I think Saliba, that Tony Adams kind of like midfield defender, and that Tony Adams, Sol Campbell defender, and it's good that we've got them now, because when Gabriel and Saliba play in defence, they kind of remind me of that back in the day. And I remember I was watching Soccer AM on the weekend, and Gabriel and Saliba were doing some questions there.
Oh, I watched that. That was good.
And that was already out on YouTube before they advertised it on Soccer AM. And the way they were talking, the way they were very serious, it kind of reminded me of the days when we won the league title 20 years ago under Adams and Campbell and that. So regardless to that, I think midfield, Declan Rice. Rice is I've met Declan Rice once at Arsenal, and I love Declan Rice. I think he's a Arsenal's fan favourite, and he's already a legend at the football club already. 10 more years, Declan Rice, and for me, he's world class. He's
you know what I've noticed when he was starting playing his first few games, I just feel like one day he probably could be a captain at Arsenal. I mean, obviously at the moment, Odegaard for me, I think's a really good captain. I think
Odegaard's a great captain, but there have been games this season where he has been a bit misfiring, like games when it really matters.
Yeah. Who's the most underrated player in our squads? That's a
hard one.
I know he didn't have the best game at the weekend, but I think Kivior for one. I mean, when we signed him, I didn't know a lot about him, and I feel like he's obviously done really well. Odegaard's a weird one because part of me thinks him as well. I don't feel like fans out of Arsenal give him that credit he deserves. I mean, I think the Man City game, I think he did good. I mean, he could have. The only thing I'd criticism about Odegaard is I'd probably want him to score a bit more. But yeah, underrated. I don't know. Who do you think? I mean, I think Kivior.
I don't really know. It's very, very difficult. I think maybe Kivior, maybe someone like that, because how he's come in. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I did want him to play against Man City, but because I just felt like a type of game like that, it wasn't really. And he was getting roasted by Bernardo Silva a couple of times, and we know the qualities of Bernardo Silva. I would love to have him at Arsenal, but regardless to that, I think it's got to be Kivior, because, like you said, because since he's come in, he's of course actually done very, very, very well, apart from the City game, and I think he's done very well under Mikel Arteta. Odegaard for me was already good. He was already good this season and last season. So when we first put Odegaard back at the football club again for his second spell, I wasn't convinced at first, because I thought he was so linked with Maddison, and I really wanted Maddison. But now Odegaard has proved it, and now he's a top player at Arsenal. Scores pretty much near enough every single game. Has the odd one or two. He doesn't, but Odegaard for me puts in a good shift, and he has his odd patches. Like I thought Odegaard. Well, I don't know. What did you think of Odegaard's performance against Man City?
I think he did work hard. I mean, I think we did well to stop Man City. I suppose I'd probably want to see a bit more from him in the sense.
I wanted to see more influence.
Create a bit more chances. I mean, I mean, he has shown that he's really good at doing that. I think that game was really difficult. I think Declan Rice had a good game. I do think Odegaard did do well. I just feel like the only criticism I do have a little bit is just for him to maybe do a bit more going forward, in the sense, on the counter attack. It was hard because in the Man City game, I watched the first half and I kind of thought it would be similar to the second half. I mean, it was really difficult to make many chances, and when we had them,
Because the second
KD
half, we created the most chances. We had a couple of counter attack
yeah,
moments. We could have won it, but we just weren't. Trossard was just too greedy and thought like he'd be so selfish. And Declan Rice for me, I thought that first half there was moments where he kind of struggled to deal with Rodri.
yeah. Yeah, Rodri is such a difficult player to handle because he's just everywhere and he's relentless. It was really difficult. I mean, I think as well, getting that clean sheet is so important as well because I know we struggled with that and I do think for me, you might agree, but do you feel like Raya has grown in confidence? Because our games, look at Anfield, that game against Man City, he's able to get clean sheets there as well. And I feel like he gets the team now, they're working really well together. And it's weird when we saw Ramsdale play against Brentford a few weeks ago. He came in and I feel awful for saying this because I love Ramsdale, but I can't help but feel Raya is a big improvement in the squad.
I think for me, look, 100% agree. Like I think Ryan for me is actually starting to prove that why he's Arsenal's number one. Like I said earlier, I think I just felt had Raya had that confidence when he look, and I liked the attraction when Arsenal were linked with Raya at the football club,
Hmm.
and we were linked with this guy when Brentford were in the Championship, and he played EFL Championship before, and he's got experience now coming to Arsenal from this season on loan, and we're going to pay his permanent deal in the summer, so. I think Raya has proved it as a number one. He's grown more confidence ever since that. I don't know what game. Maybe that Liverpool game at Anfield when we drew 1-1, or maybe there's been other games this year in this calendar year. I think Raya's been well. He saved us in the
Hmm.
penalty shootout against Porto. I was at that game. It was probably my favourite Emirates game of the season, and seeing it live, and it was a great moment.
Yeah.
But Raya for me has got to be that number one goalkeeper, and I think in the summer we got to get to keeper. The first priority is going by a striker that's going to go on and win the league,
Yeah.
and not someone who's not going to be that type of Gabriel Jesus caliber. And look, I like Gabriel Jesus. I think he's what I like about him is he works hard, he dribbles the ball, he has this work rate, and he's capable of scoring. Look, when we first bought Jesus, he was obviously going to be the main man, but now people are starting to realise what's let us down not winning the league. And to go on to win the league, I just feel like when we're in positions like this, say like we don't
Hmm.
talk about yes, we might need more than a striker, but when you're that close, you're thinking like we're just one signing away of actually getting that world class striker. Now think about Man United had Robbie Van Persie, right? And Van Persie, we didn't want to give him a contract, so that's why he left. And Van Persie was kind of right in a way why he left. And I look at Van Persie, right? Man United did it. Chelsea did it with Didier Drogba. You know what I mean? When Arsenal won the league in 2004 last, we won the league with not just only Henry, with other players like Dennis Bergkamp, Vieira, Pires, all them lot. So that's why I just look at Arsenal. If we don't get it across the line from these last 9 games and go and win these 9 games and get the 27 points, then I just go back and feel like games like Man City probably wasn't even worth a point. Some people might say, yes, it was a good point. Yeah, it is a good point at the Etihad. But I just
Yeah.
feel like, yes, we have proved it with goals this season. We did it last season. Because I said last season we can go and win the league. Because I said when Arsenal were 8.7 points clear, this sort of stage of last season before we kind of bottled it,
Yeah.
right? Because when that Man City game came, I'm thinking, right, okay, it's international break. Arsenal done very well. We're happy to get a point. Could have won the game. Put in an all right performance against Man City. But I just felt like last season where we bottled the 8 point cushion, we already proved that we scored goals and achieved last season.
Hmm.
But this season we've scored double figures. But I just feel like if we don't get it over the line by the 19th of May, it's going to be kind of similar as last season where we failed to get
Yeah.
into forward.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what I've noticed? I mean, before Dubai, we had a bit of a blip, and I'm sort of hoping that was the blip
Yeah.
we would have now. I mean, we usually have this blip now. I mean, the season we wanted to get top four, it was just a disaster at the end. I mean, Why do you feel like in recent years Arsenal have struggled at this time? Do you think it's the pressure? Do you think the pressure gets
For
to
me,
us?
it's got to be the pressure, Sophie. It's got to
Mm-hmm.
be the pressure. I just feel like when it comes to the last 9, 10 games of the season, if you're in the title race, you're going to have those 9 or 10 games really feeling it towards the dressing room. And look, 20 years ago when we won the league title, we had players back then. Football was totally different. Man City weren't good 20 years ago. They weren't winning league titles back then. Back then, it was Arsenal, Man United competing for the league title every year.
Yeah.
Chelsea came in when Mourinho came in 2004-05 season, and they went to go and win trophies every odd season. Liverpool were similar in the position to us, top four, top four, top four, until Klopp came and they started winning things, right? So regardless to that, I just feel like when you've got Man City in there with Guardiola, when they bought the league, we didn't buy the league. Arsene Wenger created players. That's how we won the league, and that's how Wenger was a top coach from when he first came in. When we won the double,
Mm-hmm.
in the, like when we won the league title in 1998, won the FA Cup in 2002. I won the league in 2000 when we won the double. 2004 when we won the league title. And I felt the Arsene Wenger era kind of ended after when we bottled that Champions League final in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since we moved to the Emirates, Ivan Gazidis said, right, we were ready to compete with Bayern Munich. And I felt like the Wenger routine, he should have gone. I was a Wenger out in 2012, and they
Mm-hmm.
kept it a very, very long time. And since 2018. And that's when I thought, when Wenger left, I thought there was plenty of experienced managers out there. I remember there was an Arsenal person called Arsenal Plug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that we were linked with Allegri. And I thought Allegri coming in could have, but we went for Unai Emery. And Emery, for
Yeah.
me, proved it. Like, he got us to the Europa League final with Liechtenstein, Socrates, Mkhitaryan, Aaron Ramsey, Dennis Suarez. I can name the
That's
whole.
mad. The squad we had then to now.
Yeah, and look at it now. And Mikel Arteta, for me, has proved it. We've been in a title challenge, right, for 2 consecutive seasons now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might have not got it over the line, and we've got to get it over the line this season. But you can see the change what Mikel is doing. We're going right forward as a club. We're going forward as a club, shall I say.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like he needs to get it over the line. And I feel the last 8 or 9 games of the season where pressure kicks us. And I always feel like, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that. We were 2 points. Like, if we finished 2 points behind Man City or Liverpool, I would be very disappointed because we haven't
Yeah.
come across with a trophy. Yes, it's 3 points less game, more games than we finished 5 points behind Man City. But I'd be a little bit disappointed because we didn't get it over the line. And the next season is going to be different. We don't know how Liverpool are going to outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, United might get strong. Other clubs are going to get strong next season. And it's going to be a little bit, are we going to be, I still think we'll compete next season, but it's whether we're going to be as good as compared to this season and last season.
Yeah, it is hard because every year teams will get better and it's going to be really tough. I mean, I do think every season we will get better, but I think you make a good point
100%, man.
before
Yeah,
about
100%.
winning things. It's really good competing, but we do need to be up there. I think people are starting to take us seriously now, but I think if we won things, if we won a league title, I feel like people would really give us more credit. I mean, I don't mind people not giving us the credit we deserve because it kind of puts us under that pressure a bit. But yeah, next season it'd be weird. I mean, Liverpool without Klopp, that'd be quite strange. I wonder.
Depending who Liverpool actually get in, Sophie, because
Yeah,
Liverpool have been linked with the Brighton manager, and
yeah,
Barcelona want to get him as a manager, right? Because he probably suits that style of play, right? And
yeah.
he's an Italian manager, right? And De Zerbi for me would probably suit Barca. Like,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, he's been okay at Brighton, but I don't think. I think Graham Potter's been an all right manager. I thought maybe he's been a better
Mhm.
manager than De Zerbi. Potter, when he was at Brighton, he created some players. He had a lot of good players. He had Trossard, Ben White, who are now at us. Caicedo's at
Yeah.
Chelsea. Hasn't turned out at Chelsea, but he's Brighton for me. I've had some very good players and have become a selling club. But I look at it now and I feel if Liverpool need to go and get an experienced manager, like it's no good go and get this sporting manager. Is he the answer to replace Jurgen Klopp? Is that going to make Liverpool go backwards? Are they going to don't get me wrong, they'll compete next season, but would they be competing for top four? They're going to have a season of last season when they missed out on top four. You can't be doing that next season if Liverpool go on to win the league. If Liverpool don't win the league and we end up winning it, or Man City winning it, and Liverpool bring a Sporting Lisbon manager, people are going to start questioning, thinking, why did we get rid of Klopp? We should have kept him for another year. But Klopp wanted to leave because he felt like he'd been at the club for like nearly 10 years.
Yeah, I think they've got to find the right replacement, which is going to be tough. I mean, back when Wenger left, there was choices there. I mean, now it's going to be really hard. I mean, I know De Zerbi has been linked to a few teams. I think if De Zerbi went to Liverpool, I'm not sure I see it working. I think it'd be nice for him to stay at Brighton, or like you said, suit a team that would suit his type of how football he plays, because I think he's a good manager. I think he's definitely transformed Brighton, and yeah, I think like we mentioned before, the Brighton game is going to be tough. I think that game is one we always do struggle with. I mean, last season, I don't remember what the score was, but I know we lost then, and it was pretty embarrassing. And that's going to be a team and a game we've got to watch out on, because we do need to win that game. We need
We
to
have
win
to win
the
that
game.
game because I don't think we haven't won a game this season, which is a 5:30 kickoff. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't seem to do well at 5:30 kickoffs. And regardless to that, we've played quite a few teams this season, and
Yeah.
I remember playing Chelsea at the Bridge, and we were 2-0 down, and thinking, "Wow, how we've managed to
Oh,
do
that
this?"
was bad. Yeah.
Which was very disappointing. But I'm guessing the point wasn't bad. But there's been games this season like we've drawn to Tottenham, and I'm thinking, when's the last time we dropped points against Tottenham? We usually beat them every year at the Emirates. And
Yeah, exactly.
I look at games this season where we could have done this, we could have done that. So, like, that's what really lets me down with this football club, which I get a bit frustrated. And I know you can't win it. I know you love to win 38 games and that, but it's very difficult in this league now these days, especially with how the Premier League's changed over the years. And I remember Arsenal squashing teams, and look, Arsenal are squashing teams now against small teams. But before, we've had periods where I remember the old days we used to beat Blackburn 6-2 and all them lot back in the day. All these teams like coming from the Championship, now Premier League teams. Arsenal used to be saying 3 or 4-0 every week, but now these days, everybody's saying now 15 years or 16, 17 years down the line, now when money's all come in, it's all different.
Yeah, it's so unpredictable, the Premier League. It's going to be really tough, especially for us, Man City, Liverpool. I think I definitely see teams dropping points, and I just hope we can do it. I mean, it'd be really amazing if we could. And I just wanted to if you to tell people a bit about where to find your YouTube channel as well, and I thought you could tell people a bit about yourself, because I know you have a YouTube channel. So yeah, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Anyone in the comments, Jesse, Elizabeth, James Johnson, Victoria Christopher, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 6.7k, and we're trying to get to 7k before the end of the season. A bit of a huge task. Subscribe to my channel, Luke at AFC. I do Arsenal content and also a bit of MK Dons content as well. I do vlog the games when I can do. I do go to most games when I can. And subscribe to my channel, Luke at AFC. I do talk about Arsenal, and I do match reaction, the odd previews and that. And I will be doing some shows this week, or maybe tonight, maybe I might do a Luton preview. And subscribe to my channel, man. It's always free to subscribe. It's your choice if you want to. And you're more welcome to come on the channel, anyone. I'm free all the time. And subscribe to the channel, Luke at AFC, man.
Yeah, please do. I'll definitely put that in the title description so people can check that out. I mean, you're doing really good things on your channel, and I've really enjoyed having you on today. I really hope we can win tomorrow. I think.
I hope so. The 3 points, man, and then we can move on to Brighton away and all that stuff. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, we've got to. I mean, for me, I don't care how we get 3 points. I just think we've got to just get them. I mean, I feel confident that we can obviously do it. I mean, hopefully we can. And I've really enjoyed doing this with you, Luca. We'll definitely do it again. Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate all of you guys that have asked us questions, that have watched this. Please do hit the subscribe button for me. Please do subscribe, share this video, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.